Hello, I'm Valerie, and I'm cleaning the kitchen. I'm washing dishes because the dishwasher's broke. How do we feel about broke dishwashers? Yeah, well, it would be nice if it kept working. But this last week we had to replace some part on the car. That was $375. And we had to replace some part on the furnace. That was over $200. And besides which, I don't know, just all sorts of things going on. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I can't even get to the sink. I gotta find the sink under all of it. Dirty dishes all over the place. Anyway, a little about me. I'm married. My wife, Jacqueline, goes by Jack. She prefers that name. And right now we have our son and son-in-law living with us. Yeah, two gay couples. Go figure. I don't really know if being gay is a inherited trait or not. I didn't figure out I was gay until rather late in life. And I think my wife sort of figured herself out, but she was in an environment that encouraged her to pretend that she wasn't gay. Anyway, I think Paul and his husband, Paul's my son. Well, he's Jack's son, but he's my son too. I think Paul figured it out early in life, did you?
Yep.
Yep. These are clean. They don't need to be washed again. I'll set them over here out of the way for now. I feel that that's rather fortunate to figure things out early in life. But hey, it is what it is. 2 husbands and 3 kids later, I figured it out. And a couple of years after that, I met Jack. Tell you what, folks, I believe in love at first sight. I didn't until then. Matter of fact, I was telling myself there's no such thing as love. Disney played a trick on us. They're convinced that there is happily ever after. And for a few years there, after my second divorce, I said Disney lied. There's no such thing. Happy marriage is not a possibility. Then I met Jack. I didn't believe in love at first sight. We'd been corresponding, texting each other for a couple of weeks. We met on Match. And for a couple of weeks we'd been talking. And she stepped out of that car, and I was standing there. She stepped out, and she struck a pose. She had flowers in this hand. And I tell you what, that's all she wrote. I was in love. A couple of days later, we're sitting at a picnic table out in one of the state parks. And at the exact same moment, we both said, "Will you marry me?" Hey, we've been pretty damn happy. We are both retired now. And Paul, sitting there behind the camera. How old are you, Paul?
Wow, 47.
47. He's an old turkey. Well, they've been living with us now for, what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks?
Yep.
Something like that. They got here the day before or the day of the surgery?
Day before.
Day before. They got here the day before Jack had her left hip replaced. She's in the living room right now in her recliner, and the dog, who is also a new member of the family, must be with her, because I don't see the dog running around.
She's relaxing.
Huh? She's relaxing on the floor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jack's taking a nap. You know, when you're sick and your body's healing, or when you've had something happen that your body needs to heal, you need extra sleep. And that's just all there is to that one. So she's sleeping right now. And I'm glad we had quite a bad turn here. First, like 2 years ago, no, we moved to New York State, upstate New York, almost 4 years ago. 4 years ago next month. And we bought this double wide. It needed some work done. But I needed some work done too, because I needed a hip replacement. And they told us that back in New Hampshire. But yours truly was just a little chubby for those doctors. They wouldn't do a surgery unless it was under, 35 body mass index, BMI. And I was over that. So we sold our house in New Hampshire. Flipped it. Doubled our money. Tripled our money almost. Yeah, almost tripled it. Tell you, those were some busy years. And then we moved into a camper. And spent almost 6 months living in the camper.
You did 2 of it at our place. You did 2 of it at our place in
Maybe
Tennessee.
6 weeks. 6 weeks we stayed with you guys, right?
About that, yeah.
And then we bought this place. And we bought this particular house because we could afford to pay for it in cash. The whole thing. And the repairs. Well, some of the repairs. Still got a dishwasher that doesn't work. But before that gets fixed, I got a water pressure tank that needs to be replaced. I can't get a plumber to give me an estimate on that. Google tells me it's somewhere between $800 and $1,000. I almost had that much saved up. And then, so anyway, after my surgery for hip replacement, we got to New York and got a doctor and talking to them and found out they would go on and do the surgery. But I also found out I'd lost something like 50 pounds during the months that we were living in the camper. So, how about that? I don't quite know how I did that. I've gained all of it back now, living here. One day we'll go back into that losing weight mode. Back to the story. So I had my hip replaced. That was my right hip. There it is. Dishcloths, knitted dishcloths that Mama made before she died. She knitted. So, where was I? We moved in here, did some of the repairs, replaced the leaking roof, $13,500. Wow. So, aluminum recycles. People, aluminum recycles as many times as there's no limit to how many times. And it is one of the most important things we can do for our planet. Where was I? I go in circles every now and then, don't I? Okay, had my hip replacement. Well, funny thing, the way I heal, I have the surgery and probably 10 days later, I'm up on my feet and running around.